In this movie, we're going to look at making the most basic of video edits. And these edits that we're going to be looking at in this movie are actually the most common techniques that you'll be using as you edit video, even when you get all super pro and everything. Mostly what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this clip here, this ride by clip, and we're going to be trimming off some of this stuff in the beginning. And we're also going to be trimming up the end a little bit as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my current time indicator around this B-roll ride by clip. We'll start at the beginning. As you can see, it takes a little while for the camera to kind of get situated, and the bikers are way in the background and they stay there for a while. And this is very common with video clips because it's customary on a video shoot or a film shoot for the cameras to start rolling and then for the director to yell action and start everything in motion afterwards. So it's very common that the first few seconds, even the first few minutes of a take, are just kind of junk that you got to get rid of. So I'm going to move my current time indicator, and this is referred to as scrubbing, by the way. So I'm dragging my current time indicator around, and I get a live update while that's happening, even though not too much is going on. And I'm going to move this out to about here. This looks like a good spot. There's already action kind of happening, so the viewer doesn't have to wait for these bicyclists to kind of get into view here. So maybe around 12 seconds and 21 frames in, that's where I want to start this footage. So we need to trim off all of this section right here. Get rid of that. So what we're going to do is make sure we have the regular black arrow selected from the tools panel. You might have noticed earlier in this chapter I had this dock to the right hand side. That's actually where I prefer it to be. I'll talk about how to do that in the next movie on the interface. But what we want to do here, wherever your tools are, is select the black arrow. And that's the tool that you want to have most of the time because it's a very versatile tool and it changes based on what's going on. So as I put the selection tool over the beginning part of this clip on the left-hand side here, you'll see that it kind of changes to be this red bracket. It kind of looks like a bow and arrow. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave my current time indicator where it is because I can use that as a guide and as a helper when I'm cutting. So I'm going to get this icon and then click and drag to the right. And by the way, you want to make sure you don't have this icon. See how the red bracket's pointing the other way? That's bad stuff. That's actually going to trim the end of this clip, which is totally fine. So I'm going to go back and get that correct icon, drag to the right. You notice that in my program monitor up here, I'm getting a live update as I'm trimming this. So it's showing me what the new first frame of this clip is going to be. Well, I actually don't really need to worry about that because I put my current time indicator where I wanted this edit to be. So what I can do is go over here, and as we get close to it, there'll be like the suction cup that just sucks it up. And that will indicate to us that we are actually now on that same line, that same frame with the current time indicator. So we can let go of the mouse, and then we have this big gap in footage. So if we scrub this now, it's totally black and empty. So what we need to do is click and drag on this clip and move it to the left to make it come on earlier. Now again, we're getting this vertical black line that you could see. And what this is the snap feature. This is the same thing that we just saw with the current time indicator, although the red line of the current time indicator kind of hit it. But as we move around, you'll notice that these black lines all around the clip at the beginning and the end are snapping to other key points in the timeline. So what I want to do is I want to line this up right there so that the first frame of this clip goes to the last frame of the B-roll train clip that precedes it, and our program monitor should look like it does now over here. It should look like that with the train on the left-hand side, and then we can let go. This snap feature is very handy. It makes sure that your clips are all lined up and you don't have big blank gaps in your presentation. And this snap feature is controlled here by this little magnet. If you ever want to turn it off to get some more precise control, just click it to turn it off. But almost all the time I leave this feature on. I really enjoy it, especially as a new user, you'll want to leave that there. The next thing we need to do is trim the end because it's a little bit too long now. As we'll learn in video editing as we go through this training series, we'll learn that long clips are not a good thing. And in the world of video, 10 seconds is a very long time. So what we're going to do is grab the end of this clip and we're going to trim it in the same way we trimmed the beginning of the clip. Click on the end and drag it to the left. And we're going to move this until the end is lined up with the cut point below it down here. And we'll get, again, the snap line. And then we can let go. And now we have made a complete edit. We have gotten rid of the junk at the beginning of the clip. And we've made it so that the clip that we're seeing here is the most exciting part of the clip. And again, as we'll talk about later, that is really the key of video editing. We don't want our viewers to sit here and look at the most boring part of our clip when we got more juicy stuff to show them. So this is the good stuff, and now this is what's part of our presentation. The best of the best is what we're going for in editing.